Jake Paul lost the biggest fight of his career this weekend. Nobody missed this thing. You had the Jake Paul lovers and you had the Jake Paul haters. But guess what, guys? Because of the camera, he still won. Now, because of the purse, he still dropped 160 million and the other guy got 60. But guys, let's talk about this real quick. He still won the fight regardless of everything. And it's because the way that this messes with everybody's heads because of the social media and how he's built this brand. Winning and losing regardless, because sometimes you can actually lose the fight. You can get knocked on your ass even and still come out way ahead of your competition. And we're going to break into that a little bit more on this episode. So the key of this is we walk away as a winner regardless of what the scorecard says. And I said it. After that, it all backs in and we're all going backwards right now, because if that sounds good, we can bring it back up and we can make sense of this on how somebody like Jake and Logan Paul can become multimillionaires with a camera. They started out with just a little camera, a little GoPro. The mind shift might not exactly make sense for a lot of people, but Jake Paul literally lost this fight because of how he's mastered the ability to market himself and his brands. He won bigger than what the scorecard says. Because of all these things, his brand, his followers, he's got just as many probably haters as he does people that love him, and he still won. What he's built between him and his brother, especially, everything that we do to build your brand and how you're showing up online is all key. And what Jake taught us this weekend is even if you get knocked on your ass, you can still win. Welcome to Elevate with Enbody. I'm your host, Tim Enbody. I'm leveraging my last 25 years of sales and marketing experience along with coaching, being coached, mentoring, leading, recruiting. And the honest truth of all this, guys, is I love what I get to do and I'm sharing all this stuff with you. So let's get into segment one real quick. The fight everybody wanted to watch. I mean, Netflix almost crashed out again, I heard. Unlike the Tyson blowout, that was a complete tragedy. That thing was horrible. But the reality of this is, even though everybody tuned in to watch this fight and everybody was hoping that he was going to get knocked out, and he did, it started out kind of slow, right? He was teasing, he's dancing around the ring, and he's scoring a couple points. And actually, the first couple rounds, I believe he won. And then the guy started to set in. And let's be honest, by the time we hit that third, fourth round, we started to see Jake gas out because he was pushing around a heavy dude. This guy was big. I would not, well, for 160 million, I might let him break my jaw. But the reality of it is he went toe to toe. He shut up the haters and he won like a winner. He lost like a winner and he cashed out like a winner. And that's huge. And you guys can do that too. Every day we come into these opportunities, you have to be visible. You have to be consistent. Okay. So let's talk about how he didn't get his hand raised as the winner, but when the mic gets dropped and the paydays get put out there, he got the record. He's the one that knocks out everybody else because he's mastered social media. He's an influencer amongst others. But at one point, he was a known kid. I think he's from Ohio or something like that. Nobody knew who he was. He's doing backflips in the swimming pools with his brother. And everybody's like, oh, this guy is stupid. He's funny. But what he was able to do is master the camera and allow that camera to be his tool. The fight wasn't the product. The camera was the product. The real win didn't even happen in the ring, guys. And I want you guys to understand this. The win for him happened the moment he decided to do whatever he was going to do, because he's a winner when it comes to branding and social media. He was winning years ago. When he decided to turn attention into leverage, I mean, almost like an arm wrestling match, when that happened for him, that's when him and especially his brother, they started to take off. At first, they were doing crazy shit, and then they started to kind of reel it in. Now they have built businesses. But at the end of the day, guys, they built brands with their name. They are the brand. So here's the uncomfortable truth that a lot of us deal with. Most people think the win is actually the outcome. It's the title. It's the closing. It's the deal that you finally got to sign. It's the paycheck that your boss gave you on a Friday. But in today's world, the real asset is attention. Jake and Logan figured this out years ago. And all I'm doing is trying to share something that I believe is uber obvious. I'm sitting there watching this with my wife and my kids. I'm like, this guy's amazing. He's so brilliant. I hate this kid, but he's amazing. You have to give him credit because he learned how to control that camera long ago. By controlling the camera, he's controlling his opportunity. They built audiences before they ever built a product. They built trust. People became familiar with them and their reach. And because of those things, they built a brand. So when Jake loses this fight or the next fight or he wins, what he also did with all these views is sponsorships. I mean, massive Netflix checks, brand equity. This guy's he's cashing in. He's posting pictures. And he even said it. He goes like, I got my ass kicked. His face is all swollen up. His jaw was broken 2 spots. He had to remove some teeth. He looks damaged. And he couldn't look any better for his future. He looks the worst he's probably ever looked. And right now, I would argue he looks the best he's ever looked. It's not luck. It's leverage. Now, let's make this real life scenarios for people like me and you that are not Logan or Jake Paul. We have a product. We have a business. We have a concept. We have a service. We can do the same thing. We may not be famous. We may not get a Netflix schedule or a reduction of any kind of businesses that are put out there. But you should all be thinking, okay, Tim, I'm not jumping off cliffs. I'm not going to get paid millions to let a bull kick me in the nuts. I'm not going to let somebody slap me in the face with a pie. It's not going to happen. I've contemplated it if I need to. I might have Chaz throw a pie at me or punch me in the face if I need to. But either way, what is relevant will always win. Every single one of us is fighting the same fight, sometimes at different times, but the fight is building a business, growing your career, creating a personal brand, earning the trust before the sale. And guess what? You're already in the ring. The question is anybody watching? Does anybody know that you're on Channel 8? They won't tune in if they don't know you're there. So we're going to talk about losing publicly, losing long-term. And here's what some of the people are getting into with this right now. Let's not get this twisted. They're scared because the truth is they might look dumb. I mean, sometimes I talk in cursive. We've talked about this before. When something on paper, I'm getting ready to get started here. And, I'm talking about Jake Paul. And Chaz walks up and goes, who's Jack Paul? Is that Jake's dad? I'm like, shit, how did I do that? Now I'm going down through my notes. I'm like, oh, I have it correct here. And he's like, I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm going to look dumb. Now, granted, I fixed it, but guess what? I still told you about it because that's real. That's me. That's real life. I'm not scared. I was scared. And now I see it as an opportunity to be honest. And honesty and transparency, we've talked about this to nauseum. It's part of the process. Showing that process to other people lets them understand who you are. But let me really break this down. If you're real, some of this could be more powerful and more leverage than any paycheck or win you guys think that you've ever had in the past. Sometimes losing out loud when you show and you show up, that's the lesson, the failure, the struggle, the growth. You don't lose credibility because you lose. You gain connection because you show it and you prove it. Next, let's talk about the social media paradox. Here's the paradox that nobody talks about, but some people think about. Only when you show your wins, you think that they trust you because you just show your wins. Like, I'm the best loan officer in the world because look at all these, celebrations I have. I do the most beautiful car detailing. My landscaping lines are perfect. I'm the best realtor in the world. I show up on social media and my hair's all done and I look beautiful and makeup's on. And, we're doing some stuff for this show right now where we just upgrade some of our equipment and it's going to make things even clearer. I'm like, shit, I was kind of able to hide behind the haze, but all of a sudden I'm going to be happy about the results. But the reality is I can't hide from you. Stop hiding. Be open. When you fail, it's okay to fail public. It's what you do after that builds the trust, not the wins. The wins don't build shit. It's not that. It's the consistency and being real. So when you do that, it shows your journey. People want to follow the journey. That's why people like the Logan and the Jake Pauls are famous, is because they show their journey every day. They've shown it for 20 plus years. And that journey is what's built trust, where people knew they could count on them when they wanted to tune into YouTube. The camera doesn't always reward that perfection. I want you to understand this. Perfection and looking perfect is not prestige. Consistency and the courage to show your losses could be. Jake, once again, he didn't win. He's not undefeated. He didn't just lay out a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He got his butt kicked. But he won because he showed up. He allowed himself to either win or fail. And millions of haters and millions of lovers all saw it and they just cashed in. This guy's going to be cashing checks off this fight way past Netflix. So the real question for a lot of us, and especially for you guys, is what are we waiting for? Are we waiting for a big win to show up? Are we waiting for an ideal perfect failure to show up? What are we staging this for? Are you willing to show up so you can win? Because in order to show your wins and to have those victories, you have to be able to show some of your losses. And sometimes your losses are the victories. I know this guy sounds super confusing sometimes, but the reality of it is, which is why my next episode actually goes into the psychology of some of this stuff, because it's a mind, you know what? To win in the long term means you have to fail sometimes. They're not the ones that we want to let the camera always see, but those are the ones that you guys should be cashing the chips in, pushing them all in, showing everybody that you're real. You're not some AI crap. I mean, it's entertaining, it's funny, but when that's all you're doing, it's phony and it's fake and nobody's going to buy from you. You don't need to be viral to be winning. You don't need to be flashy and bling blingy. You don't need to do backflips off houses and land in a pool or not land in a pool and break your leg to win. Damn sure don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be visible, because sometimes you lose the fight, not because you're not the best choice for the consumer. It's because you never showed up, because they couldn't find you, because you're invisible, because the camera freaked you out. Get on this. Let this help get your message out. And because of the camera and your ability to be out there, you can win the fight. Maybe not a pay-per-view, but you can win the fight. Until next time, keep elevating your business and your brand.